Welcome back. In this video, we're going to cover how to create our final sheet set. And so this is only for my LZ students. If you're interested in learning how to do this, by all means, feel free to continue and participate. So what we need to do is we need to turn this into a sheet set that could be submitted for building inspection approval or to a contractor to give a quote to build the house. And so what we'll see is we've got several different sheets here. We've got 6 different sheets, and we've got our cover page, which has our 2 isometric views, kind of gives an idea of what the house looks like. And then we roll down to our floor plan and our schedules, our roof plan, 2 elevations, and then our other 2 elevations down here. And so let's talk about our cover page. And so for our cover page, we need to first make a sheet, and then we are going to put 2 isometric views in there. So little tip here, when you get a lot of these expanded, you can right click, collapse all, and it'll get everything collapsed there so that we can see things a little easier. So we're going to go to Sheets, select New Sheet. We're going to load. For my LZ students, this is in CAD Lab. For everybody else, it's either in Canvas, CLC, or if you're just out there following along, it's off of Dropbox, the download from there. So we're going to go CAD Lab and assign, Intro to Architecture, and borders. And then we've got a lot of borders here to choose from. This is 11 by 17 horizontal. And you can see that the long side is horizontal on the page. So we're going to go ahead and click Open. And we are going to place that sheet. Now on that sheet, it says A101 unnamed, and it says unnamed over here. Well, on our PDF, this says cover page. So we're going to right click rename, and we're going to call A101, all caps, cover page. And then we're going to hit OK, and we're going to see that that changed. So now we can right click, add a view, and we see all of our views here. Now views can only be added once. Once it's added to a sheet, it's taken off of this list. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to cancel because we have to do something else first. We're going to expand views and then 3D views, and we're going to double click this one, and then what we're going to do is we're going to duplicate view 2 times. Just duplicate. And we are going to rename this ISO cover 1. Get rid of its brackets there, and ISO cover 2. And I might have these differently. I might call them front and rear, which actually might make a little more sense. So let's just call this one rear, and we'll call ISO cover 1 front. And so if we look at the front, make sure that that's bolded, that way we know what we're looking at. We want to look at it from this perspective, and we want to hide the roof. So now our roof is hidden. We've also got a wall that looks like it's hidden here. So in order to turn that back on, we're going to click the light bulb here, and we're going to find that that wall is hidden. So we're going to unhide element and then turn the toggle off. And now our wall's back. So that looks good. And then if we look at our cover page, we see that this one is kind of looking at it. So we see a little bit of the kitchen and the main entrance here and the sliding glass door. So we're just going to kind of align that and get it close. This one looks pretty good. Doesn't need to be super precise. So we'll go ahead and do that. Hit save. And then we'll set ISO cover rear. And we need to do the same thing. We need to turn off the visibility of our roof. And of course we've got that guy hidden again in this one because we duplicated it, so we're going to turn on our hidden elements, pick it, unhide element, and then turn off our reveal hidden. And then this one is going to look from this corner, so we see all the way down into the kitchen. So if I double click my mouse wheel, that kind of recenters everything. I can save this. And now if I go to my cover page again, so I can either do that by double clicking this or clicking it up here. Now I can right click, add view, and I'm going to add ISO cover front. We're going to put that over here. And then I'm going to do the same thing. Going to add view, ISO cover rear. Notice ISO cover front was at the top of the list. It's now gone because it's being used. So we're going to say add sheet to view. We're going to place that lined up so you notice that it's snapped in. So that's a pretty nice little feature. Make sure that everything's centered. And we want to leave some room at the bottom because we're going to put our sheet list in here. So we've got our two views made. And then our next step is going to be to add our sheet list. So in order to make our sheet list, what we're going to do is we're going to go to the View tab. We're going to click the Schedules pull down, and we're going to add a sheet list. And then we get our column chooser here. And so our first column is sheet number and then sheet name. So we're going to click sheet number and then add, sheet name and then add. Then our next column is issue date. So that is going to be under sheet issue date. Drawn by and count. So drawn by, next, and then count last. We're going to hit OK. And then we're going to see that that is here under, if we look at our project browser, under schedules and quantities. So why didn't it put it onto my sheet? Well, if I go back to my A101 cover page, I can right click, add view, and now I can go schedule, sheet list, add view to sheet. Now, I only have one sheet so far, so that's all it's going to show me. But I can stretch out my columns so that they are cleaned up a little bit. And then as we add sheets, the cover sheet is going to update. And we'll come back and double check that in a minute. So when we select our title block, we can see that we've got our properties pulled up for that title block. I want to change now author to my name, and we're going to hit apply. And we can see that drawn by didn't update. So let's go ahead and do that again. And now it updated. And then you can change the rest of your properties in here. So whoever checked it, any of the categories that we have in here can get filled out. So if we go up to our properties again, we can go ahead and change those. And then owner, we can change this. So we could say I think we say the Henderson family on our example. And then the cottage, so we can call it whatever we would like. And that is our sheet 1, adding in the details that you need to add from my example. So then to add a new sheet, which we know that our floor plan is going to be our next sheet, when we come back and look at our sheet set, we see that the floor plan is next, and that this is actually a vertical orientation. Now it's horizontal because of the PDF, so if we rotate it in Acrobat, we see that we are a vertical orientation for this sheet, A102 first floor plan. So we're going to go ahead back in Revit and we're going to right click under Sheets, New Sheet. We're going to pick our vertical. That didn't update. Let's go ahead and pick this and see what it says. Okay. So let's try this again. Let's go ahead and delete this sheet. And add a new sheet. And we're going to load our vertical LZ custom. And there we go. Okay, so we had to load that. It didn't hold that in the other family. All right, no big deal. So we're good to go now. So we can go ahead and we can take A103 and rename it. We want that A102. So we're going to go ahead and call this first floor plan. And notice that our properties held from our other sheet. And so now we can add in our first floor plan. Add view, floor plan here, and place. Now you will need to make sure that you got all the dimensions and everything that I've got. Double check all that. I'm not going to do that for the purpose of this tutorial, but please just make sure that you go ahead and do that. So we're going to save real quick. Make sure you're saving frequently. Come back to our cover page and notice that indeed it did update to have A102 listed also. Now it says drawn by author because I didn't change my name on that title block yet. So if I come back, I can pick this, go to drawn by, change that. Now it auto-populates, hit apply. I can see that it updated down here. Go back to my cover page and it updated here as well. So that is our first floor plan. And then when we come back, we're going to just see that we've got the same thing with our door and window schedule. And so we need to make those schedules. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. So let's make our door schedule, and then all you are going to do is door and window. You're not going to do casework or plumbing or specialty equipment. That is there solely for you to make the house. Okay, so all I want is door and window. So if we zoom in, we can see what our categories are. So if we pop back over to Revit, we're going to go back to View, save real quick, and then we're going to add a new schedule or quantity, and I'm going to scroll down to doors. We notice there are an awful lot of categories in here. I'm going to say OK, and then I can go ahead and start adding my fields. So we've got mark, family and type, height. So mark. I can expand this to make my window a little bit bigger, make it easier to scroll. Family and type, height, I believe is our next one. Width and thickness. And head height, finish frame material. And all we're going to do again is just come in and construction type, material, and comments. Construction type. Material is not listed. I'm not sure why, so we'll go ahead and have you skip that one because we haven't added materials anyways. We're not going to worry about doing that. And then we're going to hit OK, and we're going to see that automatically all of our doors have popped in. Now, that looks great. So we're going to create a new sheet, and that's going to be our vertical. And then we're going to create a view, and that is going to be our door schedule. We're going to place that there. And our schedule is really on the big side. So with this, we would probably be better off to go ahead and change this to the horizontal, and then bring this over, and then widen out the columns so that they go to a single column, except for this door here with this big description, although we could probably squeeze these down a little bit and just kind of use our arrow keys to move it over, pick the table again, drag this over, and that'll get us where we need to be. Awesome. So if you don't have these values in here, don't worry about it. Add the columns. If your tag numbers, your marks, don't match my marks, that's fine, as long as they match your sheet. So what we need to do on our floor plan for our first floor is we need to tag our doors. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to go to Annotate, and we're going to go Tag by Category. We're going to pick our door, and then we're going to start placing our door tags. Now, if we turn leader off, which we don't want a leader on there actually, we can do that, and then we can take this, turn the leader off. Same thing with this one. And we're going to take this and drag it down so it's kind of centered in here. And then again, we get our nice little blue hidden lines that show us that it is lining up with the other tag. One thing that we can do is I want to turn the floor off in this view. It gets confusing with all this hatch in here. So what we do is we move our mouse to the edge, and notice that it's picking the wall because the wall's on top. So I'm going to hit the tab button until it selects the floor. And I'm going to pick that, and I'm going to right click, hide in view element. And now the floor is turned off, but we really don't need to see the floor in this view. So what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and you're going to tag all of your doors with no leader. And it's nice because it kind of lines them up in the middle there. And then we've got a door down here. And this one we want to, if I can pick it, there we go. We want to move this tag down so it's outside. So again, as long as your tags all work, as long as they all match your schedule, then we're going to be good, okay? All right, next step. So we are going to add our window tags. And we can tag all. It doesn't really work that great, but it does put them in there. And we notice that every window is window 18. And so what we need to do is we need to look at our window here, and we need to look at our properties. And we see that this is Mark 2, and then when we look at this one, it's Mark 3. So we need to actually edit our tag. And so what we're going to do is we're going to double click the tag, and we're going to pick this text box and edit the label. This says type Mark. We want to remove that, and we want to instead replace it with just Mark. Add that, OK, load into project and close. So really what we have right now is this file is open, and it's going to ask us if we want to save it, and we're going to say no. And we're going to say overwrite the existing version, and now we see we've got 2, 3, 7, 6. It has to do with the order that they're put in. If you really want to renumber them, you can. I could come in here, I could change this to, if I can find it, I can change my mark to 1, 2, 3, 4. If you want to do that, by all means, feel free. All I care is that your marks match your schedule, which they should. So we're going to grab a window around these very carefully. We're going to move them from the point down here, which is not letting me snap into, which is okay. We're just going to arrow them, move them up close, and then we can use our arrow key to finish the job. If they're perfectly closed, great. If they're overlapping a little bit, that's fine too. Not going to be the end of the world. So there's our tags. Those look nice. We've got a gap between our dimensions. If we really wanted to, we could double click this tag, and then I'm kind of winging it here to edit our text style. And edit type, that's right. So we go edit type, we change our font then to City, Blueprint, apply, okay, load into project and close, do not save. Yes, overwrite the existing version. I want it to update. And then I see that I've got my nice architectural blueprint font here. Same thing with the door tags. They work the same way, so we can double click that, pick our tag, edit type, change our font. Again, if you want to do this, that's great. I think it looks nicer. It's kind of an industry standard. And then say, no, we don't want to save. Yes, we want to overwrite. And there are our nice architectural door tags. All right, so what you need to do then is finish moving out all of your tags. Again, make sure all of your dimensions are in there that I have. And now we save. We can add under View, Schedules, a window schedule. So this, thankfully, it's nice. It's alphabetic. And we can go in and we can add our header. So I've got mark, family, and type, height. So mark, family, and type, height. I'm imagining width is going to be next. Head height probably after that. And sill height is listed also. Level, manufacturer. So level, basically, if you have a two-story house, which this one obviously is not, if we had a loft, let's say, then that would tell you what other level it was on. Manufacturer, and then thermal resistance is your insulation value for that window. So level, manufacturer, and thermal resistance. Level, manufacturer, and thermal resistance in R value. And we're going to say OK, and there's our schedule. So now we can go back to our sheet. A103 is actually not going to be schedules. I don't believe. What sheet number is this? A103, yeah, it is. Okay, we're good. So A103, cap lock, schedules, okay, save, and then we're going to go to our A103 sheet. We're going to add view, our window schedule, and then place that down here. Nice that it gives us that little preview again to be lined up. And then we can take our columns and we can start to drag them around to see if we can get this one to be single rows also. We've got a couple more. There we go. So that looks really nice. But manufacturer got cut off a little bit. We can adjust that. Perfect. Okay. So basically what you're going to do from here is, now that you get your window schedule done, you're going to make a roof plan sheet. You are going to make an elevation sheet. And for your side elevations and your front and rear elevation. And then that is it. So you're going to end up with 6 sheets total. Thanks, and we'll see you in the next tutorial.